My challenges living in Antarctica for 5 months. Hello everyone, welcome to Signpost for Living. We've got Dr. Kirsten Hunter here and David Wardle, and we've just met, haven't we?
We have. G'day.
Hello. Now, we have come across each other via a mutual friend.
We have, yeah.
And somehow it came up in conversation, and they said, we have this friend who has a habit of going to Antarctica. And I said, what? I have to meet him. I want to find out. Yeah. And what did you hear about? There's this wacky lady.
I got a message while I was down there, I believe.
You didn't?
From her saying, would you be at all interested in doing something like this? I'm like, sure. I love spreading my little bit of knowledge and passion.
While you were in Antarctica, you got invited to a podcast about Antarctica.
Yes.
That's funny. and she said to me, he's not quite available at the moment. She didn't tell me you were there.
Well, I was pretty far away.
That's pretty cool. All right, so everyone, I am loving that I don't know anything about David, and this is just as spontaneous as it comes, which I love, absolutely love. So tell me, how many times have you been to Antarctica?
I have been twice now. My first time was to a station called Davis Station, which is also known as the Riviera of the South.
Okay.
And just recently it was Casey Station, which I just returned back in March. And in between that, I did a short voyage to Macquarie Island for a resupply. And that's a sub-Antarctic island, roughly between New Zealand, halfway between New Zealand and Antarctica.
Still sounds pretty cold.
It's wet and cold, though.
Wet and
yes.
cold.
I don't think there was a day it didn't rain while I was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And was it slight rain or was it?
No, it was decent rain.
Decent rain.
Decent rain and windy, and it's in the middle of nowhere.
And wow. And so when did this whole journey start? And I'm really interested as a psychologist. I'm fascinated by the concept of going somewhere that's so foreign, and what you were thinking with the concept of going. Where did that come from? And your apprehension maybe with getting ready to go, and then was it what you expected? So these are all the questions I'm going to throw at you. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Cool. So where did the concept come from? Where were you? What were you doing? Were you having a cup of tea one day? Like, what happened?
I wish I could pinpoint the exact moment, or I wish I had one of those stories where I was passionate as a child about Antarctica. But I don't. I think the memory I have was years ago, and just seeing a job like the field I was working in advertised. I'm like, what's this?
And what do you do for work?
I was a flight clerk at the moment at that time.
Flight clerk?
Yeah, so working with Qantas, doing logistics really, so cargo on flights. And I'm like, my warehousing background and cargo movement background, biosecurity is all a thing in Antarctica. I'm like,
really?
Like, wow.
Really?
How do I look at doing this?
And how did you come across seeing that there was a position like that?
I wish I could tell you, but I believe it was through like an employment website, so advertised positions, external. I thought I'll throw an application in out of the blue. I threw an application out of the blue. It got knocked back.
Did it? Yeah.
I think I was lacking a bit of experience. But that knockback is what drove me to keep on going. And the more I learnt about Antarctica, learnt about Australia's influence down there, the more I wanted to go.
Tell me about that. I don't know much. So, I'm a good student. I love to learn. Tell me about Antarctica. Can you just give a bit of a spiel about the role of Antarctica, Australia's role in... my understanding is different countries have different portions, and Australia's got a big chunk. Yeah,
Australia has a big chunk, but everybody is free to set up in Antarctica for research purposes.
Right.
No mining, no... trying to think of the other word I'm going to use, but essentially there's no exploitation of resources down there. So there's a treaty involved where anybody who goes down there has to respect their environment, has an obligation under that treaty to keep things natural as they were, use it as a research platform and lean on each other as nations.
That is just wonderful. So it's a massive environmental reserve.
It is, yes.
Right, that's as it should be, hey?
Yeah, and it's fantastic that countries don't seem to be countries down there. Everyone's down there just for the same purpose, for research.
Yeah, wow. And has there ever been, do you know, if you don't know, it's okay, but has there ever been dispute from countries who have said, you know, we don't value the environment so much down there, why can't we go and get what we want? And, you know.
I don't know. Not that I know of in my limited research.
Yeah.
But countries do audits on other country stations down there. So everybody's held accountable under the treaty. So while I was there this year, there was an audit by the French on the Australian station, Casey. So auditing like the way we conduct ourselves, the waste management, the impact that we're making on that environment.
Wow. So I'm wrong. There isn't actually portions divvied out to countries at all.
There is a map with the portions.
Oh.
And I think, Australia claims a very, very large chunk, 60-70% or something like that, with 6 other nations.
Right.
But as far as, like, that's our land, no, it's
sort of our portion of research.
Yeah, so there's many countries that are set up in, inverted commas, Australia's Antarctic territory.
So isn't it interesting?
I think it's absolutely phenomenal that we share each other's resources. Every country helps every country out.
Yeah.
Like the Chinare, which is the Chinese Antarctic Research Expedition, a lot of them flew out of Hobart with us down to Casey. Then they use that as a transfer station to hop on an intercontinental flight to Zhongshan, their station. So it's sort of,
So basically Antarctica is where the world's getting it right.
I think so, yes.
And we can work together and not be competing.
I think there's a lot of competing amongst the scientists for research, but it's
intellectual competing,
yes.
but not resource wise.
Exactly.
And it's about preservation as opposed to exploitation.
Correct.
Well, it's a nice little microcosm experiment,
it's
then, isn't it? A little petri dish.
It is.
I've never stopped to think. That's awesome. That's really cool. So, so you started off with a spontaneous give it a go, got rejected, and then said, now I'm determined.
Yeah, that's right. And I improved on myself. I tried again the next year.
What did you do to improve?
I guess I learned a bit more about Antarctica and the Australian Antarctic Division.
Yeah.
So I had more of an understanding of what the role took and
okay.
was able to answer a few of those questions a bit better. And made it to interview this time.
Yeah.
And it went all right. I didn't go any further than that.
Yeah, wow.
It was the next step, right?
Yeah, definitely. I love your perseverance. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and then the next year come along and made it to interview, made it to medical. I thought, this is looking fantastic.
Yeah.
I made it to a reserve.
Yeah.
Didn't quite make it that year, but the year after that, it was streamline I was in.
So is it a very competitive
It is very
process?
competitive, yes. It's very competitive. So I was a supply officer down there. So
you were a supply
officer.
Right.
So station supply officer. If you have a look on their internal directory of jobs, which was my expertise. But there's everything from electricians, plumbers, field trainers, cooks, or chefs, I should say. There's a very wide range of jobs.
Do they need psychologists? I am a bit busy, but
there is very, very well trained doctors down there. They're sort of a jack of all trades.
There would be. But I was kind of joking. Yeah. Wow, that's great. And so you must have been just elated when you got through.
Oh, I was ecstatic. And then, I guess extremely nervous because then I have a family and the timeline of my home job sort of worked out really well because the first 2 times I applied, I was, deep in with Qantas. It was a job I thought I was going to have for life. I thought, what's going to happen if I get this? But I was made redundant at Qantas, which was a good thing in the end. We sort of moved and I hadn't taken on a permanent role or anything I was passionate about when I got the job offer. So I thought, this is absolutely perfect timing.
So work-wise, it fit in really well.
It just fit in perfect.
Yeah. But so you've got a wife, partner?
Yes, yep. I have a wife, 2 kids.
Wife and 2 kids. How old are the kids?
They are 11 and 7 at the moment.
So when this first happened, how old were they?
8 and 4.
8 and 4. So how was your wife from the beginning with this concept? And tell me about her her enthusiasm, let's say, or yeah.
I think she was extremely enthusiastic for me. And I think the reality hit us all once it finally went across.
So this wasn't you pushing her; she was on board and enthusiastic.
Yeah, she was
with
on
you.
board, and I guess that's an extremely important thing about before going down.
Yeah.
I'll digress here. The Antarctic Division have a phenomenal guide into things to prepare, and you shouldn't go down for the wrong reasons. Not going down to escape any issues at home or. But she was on board and she was excited for me. The kids were excited for me, but also at the same token...
Probably didn't understand what 6 months meant.
Yeah, I think the time sort of frame wasn't quite understood. And my daughter, who's the 7-year-old now, was, quite upset.
Yeah.
When meanwhile, I was gone for about 4 weeks and... My son was on the couch one day and turned to my wife and said, "Where's Dad?"
Oh, really?
Didn't even notice I was gone. Like, ouch.
I'm sure that turned around. Wow. So how did you feel about the concept of being away from your wife and your 2 kids and the rest of your family and friends? How were you processing that concept?
It was quite hard, especially where I was going down under the pretense that the communications to back home would not be very good. I was preparing for the worst, like, I might not be able to talk to you for quite some time,
Because of the nature of the station you're at?
Because of the nature of the station, just whatever communication or internet access to. But I was just completely wrong on that. The communication was phenomenal.
Great. Really?
Phenomenal.
How wonderful. So could you FaceTime the kids?
I could FaceTime the kids.
Yeah, they could show you their drawings. And
yeah, so it worked out really great. I believe around 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I was at Davis was the perfect time around bedtime that we'd sort of read a book together, and
really,
I could sort of take a break from where I was working and
do
a bit of a FaceTime in the supply office.
That's so great. Can I ask, this might be a bit personal, but were there moments when you thought, am I being selfish here?
Yes.
Can you tell me about
definitely.
that?
I felt selfish because I'm fulfilling I guess I'll call it a dream.
Yeah.
Not a long-standing dream, but it was a dream of mine to get in. This has put my family essentially on hold. Like, my wife's social life would have suffered. She no longer has me to tag team so she can go out.
Yeah, solo parenting for
solo
6
parenting
months. That's a big,
for 6 months.
big
Correct.
Yeah.
It is a lot. So yes, there was moments like that. The non-selfish side, I guess, is I was on a phenomenal wage there.
Oh, really?
For a supply officer, it's quite a large increase, and maybe for some of the tradies it's a pay drop, but for us it's quite a large increase. So I sort of felt good, I guess, producing a good income, which I can't spend any of.
That's true. You can always order stuff online, but it won't get delivered to you.
So that was I guess the opposite end. But yeah, I definitely felt like that, even though I think the underlining of it was not the intention to be selfish.
No, it was never. It was never. It's just that we rack ourselves with guilt, don't we?
Yeah.
And we think, what if this? What if that? I'm not saying it's selfish at all.
Yeah, can't help it.
Wondered if your head went
plus,
there.
I look back and I think I really want to inspire my kids to do the same. I want to inspire other kids to do the same.
Yeah.
Or other adults. So I look at it as a positive in that sense. Yeah.
And your wife didn't come back and say, right, and then I'm going to the Amazon for 6 months?
She did joke that, actually.
Did she really? And what if she did? What if she said, I want to go, I say the Amazon because I'm trying to think of the opposite.
Actually, she hates the cold, so it probably would be the Amazon.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd have a leg to stand on to argue.
No. But, it's an interesting question, isn't it? That in a relationship that you would do that.
It is, and I think I maybe wouldn't handle it as good as her too. So.
Yeah. What a legend.
Oh, absolute superstar.
Well, hats off to your wife.
And then to do it twice. I came back for a few months and then did that trip to Macquarie Island for 4 or 5 weeks on a round trip. Short in...
a month, yeah.
And I came back from that and I went back to Antarctica 6 months later.
Really?
So I think it was really hard because it was a bit of a whirlwind. I reapplied because I really wanted to do it again, and
Yeah.
time just flew, and your next thing you know, I'm on a plane to Hobart.
Wow.
Wow, that just...
And given that the fact that you went the first time, was it more confident to apply the second, get in the second?
Definitely. Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah. And is it their routine to deny people the first time, second time?
No, I think if there's a suitable applicant, they would get through.
Right.
I definitely think it worked for me knowing more about it when I reapplied.
Yeah.
Some people do get in first go. Some people it takes a few tries like I do. I think it's a sort of even mix of...
And
of
also,
both.
they're going to have different demands at different times, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay, you found out you get in the first time. What were you nervous about? And tell me about the preparation time. What was involved in preparation to go? And yeah, where was your head at?
Yeah, so preparation to go is probably a couple of months' notice.
Right.
Just thinking, what do I need?
Yeah.
So start reading some guides. So they provide a lot of reference material. Reading some guides. Like, oh, what do I need to go buy? Then how do I send my stuff to Hobart? Just all these sort of little things. And they put me onto the supply officer that was currently at Davis Station. Mm-hmm. And a phone call to him just made everything so much better. He told me exactly what was there, which was available through the Antarctica Visions.
Yeah, but it personalised it.
It really personalised it.
Yeah.
So I took way too much stuff down.
Did you?
I didn't need jackets. They supply jackets.
Well, you probably didn't know that.
Yeah.
But also, you'd rather take more than less because you can't go and get pop down to the corner store.
I think they're saying they'd rather be looking at it than looking for it. But I think as a supply officer in Antarctica, that's also our nightmare because that's more space taken than we could put other stuff in.
Right.
I understand that now.
Yeah, I guess the second time round you knew what to take.
Yeah.
What percentage less did you take the second time?
Oh, probably 75% less.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
really?
just things I didn't need, just spare clothes, spare socks, spare undies, and a dinosaur costume.
Why do you need a dinosaur costume?
Because you never know when you need a dinosaur costume.
I'll take that. And what did you wish you took?
That's a question that comes up a lot, actually. What do you wish? What do I wish I took? I don't think there was anything that I really, really missed, like, as a physical thing. They provide a lot of entertainment and a lot of resources, a lot of things down there for an expeditioner to do.
Right. Okay.
So I don't feel that I missed anything.
There isn't a pool table, is there?
There is a pool table.
There is not.
There is.
How the hell did they get a pool table to Antarctica?
Oh, on ships.
There's a pool table.
There is a pool table, ping pong table. Darts is the big sport down there. So I took my own darts down. That was recommended to me. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
I'm impressed.
there's some cool stuff down there.
Yeah.
A golf simulator on the first
Golf
time I went
simulator.
down. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this is sounding better than I thought. I'm thinking it's a wooden cabin with a fireplace.
No, I think it's been a long time since Australians roughed it down there.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
On the stations, I mean, there are field camps set up, and that's very, very basic, living out of tents. And
Yeah.
but as far as the stations go, it's pretty.
And I don't. This is the ugly side of humans. But did you have any jealousy of anything anyone else took?
Not really. I'll say maybe I had jealousy of people's ability to use things.
What do you mean by
Like watching people edit photos or things on a laptop. It's far above my knowledge, and also far above my knowledge of wanting to learn.
that? Yeah.
But I wish I just knew it.
But with that knowledge base, you've got this wonderful whole project that can happen.
Yeah. So
I love writing books, so I've got this concept that if I went there, I'd just write.
there is a lot of people that write down there.
I would just write and write because that's just my happy space, yeah.
Oh no, I wrote a few postcards as far as I went.
Yeah, well, there you go. Wow. Okay, so what other preparation did they want you to do? Was there anything else they wanted you to do apart from pack your bag?
Yeah, so before getting the contract, you obviously do a medical, you do a psych exam as well.
Do you remember what leaning that was about? Could you pick it?
No, I couldn't pick it. I think it was just a fluent chat.
Sure.
And yeah, I think it was probably more me thinking it was nervy and scary, but it was really, really good.
Yeah.
But preparation wise, I think
Did they want to fit? Did they want you to go and do any sort of get into an exercise regime or?
No, there's a pretty in-depth medical, and passing that medical, that's sort of, you've got to manage your own self.
Yeah, yeah.
As a summer, the medical's not as strong as a winter person. They've been down there for 12 months. The medical could go into dental records and
Right.
a bit further than that. But as being a summer and only there for 5-6 months, it's not quite the same, because there is a chance of getting me extracted. For a winter person, there's no chance of being extracted.
Is that right? Because winter you just can't get there.
Because, can't get there. Australia doesn't have a year-round runway to fly an aircraft in. And the sea ice is too thick to get a ship close enough in.
I can't actually imagine being that. Do you think you could do that if you go over winter? And
I would love to.
wow,
I would absolutely love to.
Really?
Yeah. To experience it, because I've obviously developed a lot of friendships to people that are still down there.
Yeah.
And sort of seeing what they're going through, and the small team family they've become, the auroras, the ice as far as you can see, the temperatures. It's
Pretty amazing.
would be pretty amazing.
Wow. What's your wife think about that?
Definitely not anytime soon.
Yeah, because it's a year.
It's a year. Add in the time in Hobart, because a lot of extra training goes into winter. So
Right.
they're trained as firefighters or surgical assistants.
Really? Right.
So all that time and training in Hobart added onto that year.
Sure.
So
Unless you could go for the 6 months of winter and get an exception.
I think a lot of that training will probably still apply.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying the training plus the 6 months rather than 12
Yeah,
months.
I think it'd be hard to get that, because there'd be so many people that would want to do the whole year.
Right.
And plus, I think I'd want to do the whole year too.
Oh my gosh, it's very Moorish.
I know. I'm waiting for the kids to get a bit older on that one.
Well, I think your wife better. Are there any couples that go?
There are some couples down there, and I'm not too sure whether they meet down there or come down as couples. There are some, but it's definitely not flaunted. But no, I did meet some couples down there.
Yeah, because maybe your wife wants to go down.
She said herself she would be complaining every day, and people would be sick of hearing her saying it's so cold, because,
as you say, she doesn't like the cold.
Doesn't like the cold.
But is it actually cold? I mean, what I mean is, aren't you indoors where it's heated?
Yeah, so inside's heated. Top of my head's around the 18 degrees, sort of heated inside. So it's quite comfortable. She would probably still be wearing an overcoat in that 18 degrees. And then outside, stepping into the negatives is like,
it's very real.
Very real.
All right, so let's go back. So how does one get to Antarctica?
So Australian-wise, to getting to Antarctica is 2 ways: ship or aircraft.
I'm guessing Hobart's pretty important.
Hobart is the base of the Australian Antarctica Division.
Yeah.
Phenomenal complex.
We were down in Hobart and we saw that there was this big, Antarctic kind of, building.
Oh, it's fantastic. I absolutely love it, and I cannot speak highly enough of, especially the team I deal with, the people there and the passion they have for Antarctica. And
really?
Oh, it's super infectious.
Oh, that's so wild. That's great. Okay.
And sort of going the first time, I spoke to their media department, which they do a lot about spreading the word about what Australia does down there, the research they do, and they even sent a little sticker pack to my daughter's class, which was fantastic.
That's so wild.
Sort of get them all inspired, and
yeah.
So phenomenal place. I forgot the question there.
How do you get to Antarctica? Yeah.
There I am. I digress. So ship or aircraft. So ship-wise, there's a shipping schedule. Australia has the RSV Noyina, which is a fantastic icebreaker. It's 110 expeditioners on it, or plus. Cargo, research, dropping whale moorings. They do a lot of...
What's a whale mooring?
They'll detect the sounds and patterns of whales.
Oh, right.
They have a marine biology marine research station on board, and it's all a bit above my knowledge, but it was very cool to see.
Yeah.
And they'll have a schedule which goes down between, I think the first ship goes to Davis maybe in a week or two. So they'll go to Davis, crack through the ice, and then when they crack through the ice, they'll crane the containers off the side of the ship onto essentially trucks or machinery versions of trucks. They'll drive them on the sea ice into the
Wow.
station and vice versa. And then the ship will go to the other stations and load onto barges. When the sea ice is melted, the barges will go to a dock. Cranes will pick them up off the wharf, and resupply was my passion down there because that's
That's your job.
my job. Yeah.
Well, you guys would be so incredibly important because you keep the machine turning, having the supplies so that everyone can be there and exist and have what they need.
I like to say we were, but I think I'm going to hand that to the chefs as the most important person down there.
I will go with that. Were they good cooks?
Oh, phenomenal.
Really?
Phenomenal.
Oh, pressure when you came home, hey?
There was a bit of pressure on, but I think I learnt just to be very, very happy, in which I was. So.
Yeah. And were they very mindful of having very healthy food?
I think they are. There's the first layer against the cold, they say, is a full belly.
Right.
So
they want you to have a full belly.
they want you to have a full belly. So
Is that right? It's actually a layer. It's actually
a
a way
layer
of...
to protect against the cold, yeah.
Really? Oh, that's a great explanation. Good excuse for a good meal.
And that's it. And us Australians, we love our smoko, so
Yeah.
it became the most important meal of the day.
There you go.
But they're absolutely phenomenal, and they're very passionate about what they do. They could really just slap out party pies and we'd be happy, but no, they're
Bring on the food.
fantastic on their craft.
So there's cranes in Antarctica, are
Yes.
there? Wow.
Yeah, so mobile cranes.
Mobile cranes.
Yeah.
Right. It must be strange to push through the ice. Did you actually see that?
I saw it. I wasn't on the ship that went through the ice.
Yeah.
I flew in and landed on the ice, which was on the sea ice on a small Basler, which is a Canadian hired aircraft. They fly these intercontinental flights in Antarctica. So the aircraft are leased by a Canadian company, and they fly them all the way down, and we use them, and we use that between our bases, stations.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I saw the ship crack through the ice. Absolutely beautiful, phenomenal,
Powerful.
powerful, absolutely
Wow.
powerful, and just sort of seeing a ship just sitting in white is
Incredible. How do
Incredible.
they obviously have reverse.
reverse thrust.
Good. No turning going on there. That's amazing. So you flew in.
I flew in. I got a ship back, but the ship back because the sea ice is all melted then, so there's no ice to break through. A few
Right.
icebergs. And,
Must have been amazing looking out the window as you landed or as you approached.
yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. From high, it's quite nice, and you sort of get low, you just see white.
Really?
All I could see.
White. Very Santa Claus.
Yeah, so the ships from Hobart go to all the stations for resupply, changing over people, marine science, and the other method is aircraft. So we charter A319s, which is very similar to your regular passenger jet, and they'll fly from Hobart to a runway called Wilkins, and it's about a 4-hour drive from Casey Station is a Wilkins runway.
Wow. I know that people can fly from Hobart down and do a flyover of Antarctica.
Yeah, so Qantas do the scenic flights for Antarctica flights.
Do you think that'd be worth doing?
I think so. I've never been on it, but I'm also biased in saying actually being on the ground's better.
Oh, no question.
But that's
Most
sort of
people just
out of a
don't
lot of
get
people's
to do
choices.
that. Yeah.
It would be phenomenal. I got to speak with one of those aircraft when I was in Casey.
Really?
Our station leader asked if anybody wanted to speak to the aircraft as it flew over the top of the station. Like, I used to work for Qantas.
Sure. Yeah, bring it on.
Please.
That's so great. And so when you arrive, what's the facilities like? As in, is it this massive building that everybody lives in, or is there lots of different buildings? What's the actual,
Yeah, so lots
infrastructure?
of different buildings. It was put really well by Sparky. One looks like Legoland
Does it?
because all the buildings are different colours. Generally, the colours
Hey.
mean something, but they're different colours. Everything's block-like, like
Yeah.
shipping containers joined together and
Are they
insulated.
actually made from that?
Yeah, most of the time they are.
Right. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, easy to transport down there, join them together while they're there.
And they're different colours to help people not get contrast to the white.
I believe so. I don't know the true reason, but
Well, I would like that. Go eat in the orange building and go and I don't know.
I just remember don't walk into the blue one because that's electricity and engines.
Really?
Unless you're with someone who's allowed to.
They'd have to run out of colours though, wouldn't they? There'd have to be repetition. Wow.
There was a bit of repetition, but essentially, yeah. But it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. You go in there, it's white. These colours pop out, and
And honestly, do you think it's a safety issue so that they can see it in contrast to the white?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Sure, there's a reason.
Yeah, and and I guess in a blue, a big green building sort of stands out.
Yeah.
Nothing else is green down there, so.
Yeah. A multitude. Yeah, wow. And did you find the buildings to be an insult to the natural environment? Do you know what I mean? Was it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess I was just very used to them.
Yeah.
Even first going down there, I'd seen them a lot and like looked into them a lot. So not for me, but I guess they could be. It's a weird contrast looking at a coastline, like from the ship looking in, you sort of see white and cliffs and rocks and a few scattered colourful buildings. So yes, there would be a bit of a contrast to.
Yeah, which is just necessary, isn't it?
Yeah, it is necessary.
And did you get to go outdoors much?
Yes.
Tell me about that. Did you get to like just, I don't know, go for a walk, or you know, there are penguins hanging around? Like what did you get to do with your interface with being outside?
Yeah, so you get to go out. Well, you can go outside whenever you want, as long as the conditions aren't. They use colour coded warnings. So
Really?
Green, there's sort of TV screens and monitors sort of everywhere. Green, everything's okay. Orange, sort of watch yourself.
For what?
Well, the winds are picking up. It's all to do with, I guess, wind and blizz.
Right, blizzard. Yeah.
It's picking up, go in pairs. Reds, only essential travel outside. And then black, no one leaves the building.
And what percentage of the time was it green or?
When I was at Davis on the Riviera, I don't think I ever saw it turn orange.
It was always green?
It was pretty much always green. It was always beautiful. It
Yeah.
was cold or a light blizz. Where I was this year, I think I saw it go to red once or twice. But yeah, not super often, but it's always predicted. There's Bureau of Meteorology down there, or the Bureau. They're phenomenal at predicting
all over
as well.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so when you go outside, why would you go out and what would you do?
So I'd go out to walk to my bread and butter, which is, we call it the green store, big green building, which is a giant warehouse. I'd work out of there. So the walk there.
Like the storeroom?
Yeah, essentially.
Yep.
So it could be there for work. Going for a walk, there's a sort of station limit. There's maps sort of everywhere where the lines around the base of where you can travel to anytime, where you can travel to a little bit further, but you then have to carry a radio, let someone know your intentions. There's a big tag board where everybody has a name on a dog tag. It's flipped around to a different colour if you are off the station, so everyone knows like where you are. Certain places you need to get permission before you can leave, and when you first go in, you need to be survival trained. So you go out. Field training officers go down there. They are the cool people down there, carabiners. They seem to have the greatest job in the world, but it must be stressful trying to train people like me.
What do they train you in?
Survival.
What does that mean?
How do you get caught in a blizz? What do you do? What do you need to carry with you at all times?
Yep.
How to navigate.
Yeah.
Using when you can't see, essentially, or using landmarks, using your compass, using. Yeah.
Wow. Did that scare you?
I don't think it scared me. I think I just absolutely loved it.
Really?
Because these people are passionate and it's infectious.
Really?
On adventure. So.
But you're thinking, I'm not going to ever use this.
I'm thinking I'm a homebody. But I'm going to have to leave sometime.
Yeah. But were you actually thinking, did they say to you in all probability you're not going to use this because we're not going to send you out in a
I don't think they say that. I think you're always got to be prepared. I don't think there was ever that mention that it's probably not going to happen. You definitely don't go out when it's in bad conditions, but bad conditions can change pretty quickly.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But it's being prepared for those conditions and having all the right communication, so you can sort of tell there's search and rescue teams that are trained up.
Yeah.
And if they get activated, they're able to rescue you.
Yeah. And when you were there on both your stints, did you see any of this happen?
No.
Great.
Yeah, it was very well coordinated. People are, I guess, very well trained, but I didn't see any scenario where that training needed to be used. There's a few exercises.
Yeah.
So if you keep everybody on their toes, like a search and rescue or a first aid incident. So there's a few exercises
Which is good.
Oh, it's fantastic. It keeps in everyone's mind too.
And so could you just go for a walk just for your pleasure?
In close vicinity, yes. A little bit further, survival training comes in. So the field trainers take everybody out for survival training. So it's how to use these equipment, how to navigate, how to sleep in the snow. And so you spend a night sleeping on the ice.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I didn't get a wink of sleep, but I loved it.
Okay. Because it was freezing.
Because it was cold and exciting, and you go through sort of, I feel hot, I feel cold, because you're given some pretty good gear down there.
Yeah.
To sort of keep you warm and sort of thermals on. And
your wife really wouldn't want that.
No, no. She's probably happy I was suffering.
Wow. And, when you're out there sleeping on the ice, we're in the Antarctic, not the Arctic, so there's no polar bears.
No polar bears.
That's got to be a good thing.
It is. That's probably number one question I get, though, is do you see any polar bears?
No, they do not.
I really want to see a polar bear now, but I'm going to have to go up north.
You will. I wouldn't want to see one in the wild myself.
Oh, yeah, maybe not in the wild.
No,
I don't think I will.
So given that, on land, is there actually any predator?
Predators, no. And this is why I think penguins are so just happy to be everywhere.
Really?
Because they don't really have a land predator either. They've got plenty of predators in the sea or the ocean, but...
Is that amazing to not have a land predator?
Oh, it's phenomenal. That's why they're very trusting with us, and it's quite odd. You'd sort of be doing something around the station. I'll be driving a telehandler around, so an outdoor forklift, and there's be a penguin walking past. You're like, oh, which you always give way to and keep your distance. So you got to stop. They'll put everything to a halt.
Oh, that's so wild. So were there a lot of penguin activity around the base?
There was a lot of penguins.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so great.
Oh, they're fantastic. They're such gorgeous, clumsy creatures and smelly creatures.
Smelly?
They're very smelly.
Fish?
Yeah, probably more like poo.
Really?
Yeah, like bird. Yeah.
Oh, that's
especially
lovely.
I visited a rookery, which is I guess a penguin colony.
Yeah.
And yeah,
They're surrounded by ice, which is water. Surely that's going to wash them.
I
it's frozen, I
think
guess.
generally the nesting is on rock and melted, and
yeah, they need to go for a swim.
Yeah, definitely. But it's nature, I guess. We take the bad with the good.
Were there different types of penguin breeds?
Predominantly Adelis, which is I guess your penguins of Madagascar.
Right.
They're the sort of, but we sort of call them like ice bin chickens. They're sort of everywhere and
ice bin.
Just absolutely provide entertainment.
Yeah.
The first year I was down, there was some emperor's nest. What's the word I want? Feathers coming out to come to me. They come to land to have drop their feathers and.
Oh really?
And
shed.
Shed.
Yeah.
Yes. There's emperor shedding.
I didn't know they did that. Okay.
Yeah. Neither did I until I saw them. Like, oh, they're big penguins.
I thought they were furry rather than feathery.
Yeah, they're feathery. They're very streamlined.
Really?
Yeah.
Never thought about it.
And so there's Emperor, but one of the Australian stations, which is Mawson, which I haven't been to, which, that's going to be my bucket list to go to Mawson. There's rookeries of Emperor penguins, which are ginormous penguins, just gorgeous looking birds, I guess. And Macquarie Island, when I was there, was the Gen 2 penguins.
I'm going to have to look these all up.
Which is absolutely gorgeous because my daughter said to me, I want to see a penguin pooing. I guess the 4-year-old's mentality.
Okay.
And I didn't see one pooing while I was in Davis, but when I was on Macquarie Island, I was lying on the beach and I was filming a Gen 2 penguin. It walked over to me, turned around and pooed on me. Fortunately, I was filming it, so
that's
I had proof for her.
You made her day. That's quite funny.
She absolutely loves it.
Oh my gosh. Chuck that on YouTube. That's funny. And so did you feel like you had enough distance to go for walks or did you feel restricted because of the safety measures?
I felt I had enough. I know some people wish they could go more and more. There is the really adventurous people that go down. With the survival training, you can go that little bit further, but you've got to carry a pack with you. We have vehicles that can be utilised, haglins, caterpillars on tracks.
Yep.
So they essentially can be used for trips out. There's huts around, so it's be a random red shipping container converted into rooms that's k's and k's away from the station. So you sort of put together a proposal, a permission if I can go out there and go through all your requests. You stay out in these huts, which to me was perfect because you're still sleeping inside. It's cold.
Did you do that?
Yeah, I did that.
Right.
Some fantastic locations. So I put there a long time ago, so it's probably something that wouldn't fly these days. You couldn't just drop a container in the middle of nowhere. But I guess,
Okay.
during the golden ages.
Yeah. And did you work 7 days a week? How did that work?
Yeah, so the typical working arrangement, which changes for people's jobs, I guess, and needs, is Monday to Friday. And community duties is another big thing, though, I guess, to mention down there is there's no cleaners, not the chef serves you food, you got to clean up after yourself, you got to do your day in the kitchen as well. So there'll be a roster called a slushy roster, so it's your turn to work in the kitchen essentially.
Right.
So if I'm on it for this particular Wednesday, I don't do my normal job, I am working under the chef's supervision all day.
Yeah.
So everyone has a turn doing kitchen duties.
Yep.
There's a volunteer force that cleans the kitchen at night time, washes up, because the chefs are on their feet all day. So we try to make it easier on them by cleaning things up and putting their stuff in the wrong places to make them happy in the morning.
Yeah, right. You try.
Cleaning communal bathrooms. You sort of have a bathroom between three or four people in the general layout and sleeping arrangements.
Did you have shared bedrooms?
No, Australian stations are single bedrooms, which is fantastic.
Whoa, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's one of my assumptions going down. I'm like, what if it's shared rooms? And
they're small though, I imagine.
They're pretty small, yeah. So a winter has a slightly larger room for obvious reasons. They're there for a bit longer. I'll just say off the top of my head, maybe 4 by 4 meters, and the summer room might be 2 by 2.
Right.
It's a bit of a
roughly. Yeah.
So king singles.
Yeah.
Are the beds down there?
Yeah. There
but
you go.
they're definitely comfortable.
Manageable, yeah. And
zero complaints from me.
That's so great. Absolutely. And there are 2 different locations. Did you have a preference between them, or were they very different? Was the landscape very different?
Very, very different. So
Davis
was very very rock based. It resembles a mining camp. When the ice sort of melts away, it's like, wow, there's no snow anywhere.
Yeah.
And then Casey was just sort of blizzy hills, look into the distance, there's mountains, not literal mountains, but hills of snow. It's absolutely beautiful. As picking a favourite, I like Davis because it was a elephant seal ground, so the beach right at the front of the station, elephant seals would gather.
That's amazing.
They would shed, they would slap each other.
And they're just enormous?
Enormous. It's amazing. You almost feel the ground shake, even though it's
you're a tall big guy, right? So relative to you?
Oh, way bigger than me.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Way bigger.
Wow.
And the vibration you feel when they slap each other on the stomachs, and it's just...
Why do they slap each other?
I think it's asserting dominance when they're a bit grumpy with each other.
It's not a hug.
No. So you generally watch the smaller ones just wiggle out of the way, and the big ones sort of go where they want to go.
Wow, and all the flubber.
All the flubber. And they sort of burp and fart and all night. You can sort of hear them from ages away.
Really?
Bodily noises. And smell them from ages away too.
Oh, that's fantastic. What other wildlife did you see?
A lot of birds.
Yes.
So there's a lot of bird life down in Antarctica.
Big albatross?
Yes, there's giant petrels down there as well, ginormous birds. It's beautiful to watch them in the wind because they barely don't move.
Right.
So how is this thing flying?
Yeah.
A lot of skewers, a lot of smaller birds, like little snow petrels, just gorgeous range of birds.
You were learning all about them.
There was so many there. I have no idea what that is. Haven't seen that before.
Wow, that is so great.
And seals, so the elephant seals, there'll be Weddell seals, like not close to people. They'd sort of lay on an ice somewhere, on a rock somewhere. The penguins, which we talked about earlier, are sort of everywhere.
That is just wild, absolutely wild.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Was there ever any time that you found it scary?
Besides the initial first arriving and what do I do?
Yep.
I don't think there was a moment I was actually scared by anything.
Well, you didn't have horrendous weather.
There was no horrendous weather. I was quite lucky down there. Plus, I had pretty strong faith in all the...
Yeah, you're surrounded by a good team.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Okay, I've got 4 more questions.
Yeah.
You shoot anything extra, but you said that you went swimming.
Yes. Yeah.
We sat down and that's what I asked straight away. Can you tell everyone about this? Because that's crazy. Because, we're talking about how my beautiful John likes to go free diving, wants to go in Antarctica. I think he's crazy. And then you said he's not.
I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I don't regret it one bit.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a rite of, I won't say a rite of passage, it's a tradition.
Yeah. To go swimming in Antarctica.
To go swimming in Antarctica.
Fantastic.
So it's definitely by choice. So on Australia Day, we do a summer swim, and then the winterers will do it on the midwinter solstice, cut a hole in the ice. But for the swim, we sort of run into the beach or the wharf, go into the water, and see if we can last 5 minutes.
So the beach part you go into?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's definitely not deep. There's a lot of people around ready to rescue you if something went wrong. You do sign a waiver and have a little appointment with the doctor before you go in.
Oh my gosh. But what do you have you got no shoes on?
No, you're wearing shoes.
Yeah.
Wearing shoes.
Because dangerous. Maybe.
I guess what you step on.
Yeah. And also the ice would be cold on your feet.
Oh, my shoes were cold.
Your shoes were cold.
Everything was cold.
Yeah. And how many times did you run in and out?
Oh, just once.
Just once.
So at Davis, I ran in and maybe lasted 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Ran out again.
I just think the willpower to run in is what's impressive.
Oh,
because that, to me, you're fighting your intelligence there.
Yeah, exactly. I just sort of think about when I was a kid jumping into a pool without testing the water.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's incredible. And the second time?
And the second time, ran in, I thought to myself, I'm going to do better than what I did last year. And I did. I got to the 5 minutes, despite it. I was struggling at the end there, but there was some other people with me.
Yep.
It sort of made it a bit better, a bit of encouragement.
I'm staying as long as they do. I'm going to do it.
It's to come out, your body goes red raw because your body's just saying, get out,
How do you warm up?
Well, you got to sort of change your clothes and towels and that, all sort of ready to go. They also have...
Outside in Antarctica. That's not exactly a warm space.
Especially when you're cold, wet and cold. There's some heated vehicles ready to go. So there's a lot of safeguards when you hop out. But as I mentioned before, they provide some excellent kit down there to keep you warm and safe.
Yeah.
So,
that's so
utilising
great.
that.
That is absolutely wild. Okay. What research, it just, if you can throw anything at me, what kind of research do they do down there?
Yeah, so it's... I don't have the understanding, of course they do. They provide talks down there.
Yeah.
So on Tuesday night? Tuesday night they have Casey Talks, where I was this year, where the scientists will talk about their project. I'd sit down and listen to them and absolutely love it, but unfortunately it all just went over my head.
So was it often about the flora and fauna of Antarctica?
Yeah, so there'll be people studying like the algae down there and the moss.
Yep.
There's ice cores being drilled. Australia is doing a project called the Million Year Ice Core, where they send a traverse team out to close to where the European stations are, and they're drilling a couple of k's into the ice to check what the climate was like a million years ago.
Wow.
So that's absolutely phenomenal. And from a logistics person, we get to be responsible for sending these fragile ice cores back to Australia and maintaining chain of custody of how cold these things stay.
Wow. That's incredible.
There was a lot of, glacial research into sea ice melting. There's a big program in the Denman Field Camp, which a whole bunch of scientists were stationed in, a field camp, where they'd sort of do, drilling into the ice and...
Gee, really, really fascinating.
It's really fascinating.
Dream.
It is a scientist's dream, and I absolutely love that. Sort of come to me in the store to send their samples back, and we'd sort of make sure the biosecurity paperwork's all in order, and it's so exciting to have my little part of these projects.
Well, it must have been a massive learning curve to know how to do all these things.
Definitely. I mean, they do provide good training, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what did you find challenging?
What did I find challenging? Being away from my family is the absolutely hardest part. Even though I was able to talk to them at any point, there's a Cisco phone in every room, for instance, so it wasn't hard to reach out at home. There was internet access.
Yeah.
It was, not being there physically, or something exciting was happening. My daughter had a ballet dance on, and just not being able to be there, and sort of watching videos just aren't the same as sort of being there in person.
No, and you want to hug them.
Exactly. And there'll be times I would ring home and something exciting really happened, or I went out, saw a penguin fall over and it was hilarious or something, and the tone of the voice answering, I could understand, my wife's under a bit of pressure, a bit of stress at the moment, and so...
Not the time to share a penguin story.
Not the time to share a penguin story.
Right.
So it's a lot of scenarios of respecting what's happening at home.
Yes.
And not flaunting what...
Yes.
There's definitely stressful times for me, but I don't think it's as many stressful times as there was at home.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Any other challenges that you found?
Navigating the work down there sometimes, but the joy is you have a head office in Hobart that's willing to help you
Yeah.
at any time. But so the time difference was a bit odd.
Mm-hmm.
It was challenging at first. You sort of get to know both personalities because you're sort of down there with a whole bunch of random people. Well, you sort of might get to know each other in Hobart a little bit and slowly work each other out. And
It must have been a fascinating thing, a group of people together, living and working together, coexisting, different personalities.
it's phenomenal from different backgrounds of
Everyone's
life.
kind of
And
finding their place.
it's amazing that somebody sitting next to you, don't know anything about them, that it's got this amazing story, they can do amazing things, and
Yeah.
it's awesome, like learning all these things about these people as you go as well.
What about tricky personalities? Or they screen them out?
I think they're very, very well vetted down there.
Yeah.
There's definitely some loud personalities, not offensive, but some loud personalities. I'm generally a bit quieter, even though it can be a bit loud.
Yeah. Actually, on that point, are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I am an introvert,
Right.
but I think once I really get to know people, I can be a little bit extroverted.
Yeah. And so I guess, did you get enough time to yourself?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. No qualms about being by myself.
Yeah, you
So
got
there's
enough
times
time.
where you can go to your room, or if the room's a bit noisy because you're sort of living there after people,
Yeah.
there's plenty of buildings around the station.
Wow. And did you ever feel, overwhelmed with the concept of being in Antarctica, the concept of being in this little village in the middle of nowhere? Kind of the opposite of being claustrophobic.
Yeah, I think that feeling definitely came when I first got there.
Yeah.
Was what on earth have I done? Where am I? What is this
doing?
place?
Yeah.
And I just remember going through an induction with the station leader. They go through, point out where everything is, and all I can think about is where on earth do I put my coffee cup? I finished my coffee. Where do I put it?
Yeah.
What do I do with this?
Yeah.
Nothing about my job, nothing about anything else. But yeah, I think after time, and especially the second time I went, that feeling wasn't there.
It's amazing what becomes normal.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I'd definitely encourage people to do it, and I want to do it again myself.
There you go. Well, that's my next question was, I guess I actually don't know the answer. Where to from now, and what's your ambition?
Oh, actually, this might be one of the hardest things. You do this job, and you come back,
Yes.
and it's quite hard to compare it. You can't compare it to everyday jobs.
So normal life becomes a bit
Normal life
anticlimactic.
is anticlimactic. It's if I could have the Antarctic life and have my family, I would be
Really?
ecstatic. Yeah, I wouldn't live there permanently, but it's a fantastic job to have. It's a fantastic place to be.
Wow, amazing environment to be in.
Yeah.
So, what's your wife giving you permission to do? I guess I'm wondering.
I'm not going back down this year.
Right.
I'm having a year off.
Yes.
I say a year like I'm going next year, but I will reapply next year.
Yeah.
But I obviously have to make sure everything is right at home.
Yeah.
Like next year, my son starts high school,
Yeah.
so I definitely want to be home for when that transition happens. So it's sort of picking the right time with everybody at home.
Yeah. And seeing how your wife feels about that.
Oh, definitely, because
Making sure she's okay on
it's
board.
definitely not fair on her if I do it again straight away.
And where's she at right now with it?
She's very happy that I'm not going, because it's about this time I was gone the last couple of years.
Really?
And the kids are definitely happy.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I'm probably struggling with is summer.
You coping with the heat?
I hate the heat.
Oh, you do? That's hilarious. Well, you were made for Antarctica, weren't you?
I definitely was.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I am so appreciating you coming in, seriously. Anything else you want to throw at me? I'm feeling pretty good about this.
It's a fantastic place. It's
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic, and we are really looked after down there. So
If you get an opportunity.
if you get an opportunity, go down there. There's pool tables, dartboards, activities, great people.
And penguins.
And penguins. Pretty much the most adorable animal you've ever seen.
That smell.
That smell.
David, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I've enjoyed this conversation thoroughly. And, spoiled. Thank you very much.
No, you are more than welcome. Thank you.
If people want to catch me online, The website is KirstenHunterAuthor.com, Facebook and Instagram, Kirsten Hunter Author. Thank you again.
No, you're more than welcome. Thank you.